Hello, good morning. Still in my PJs, going to get ready for the day and talk about something that I feel like I get a lot of questions on or that people want to know, which is talking all about growth. I am definitely not an expert on growing a social media platform. Our largest page is Instagram right now, which is still definitely smaller compared to a lot of creators, but I'm just going to share kind of my perspective and what I've learned. I want to start off by talking about the misconception that bigger is better, and that's what you need to be successful on social media, that you need tons and tons of followers, and that's what you need to monetize, which is not the case. I actually think that the wrong growth can hold you back. For example, if you are going viral for something and kind of getting the wrong followers that aren't going to be actively engaging with your page and staying on, it can really affect your engagement rate, which doesn't look good for if you want to work with brands and do things like that. On through my page and even removed followers before that seemed to be bots or inactive followers to help that. Obviously, having a following does help to get certain opportunities, like it's not hindering anyone, but it's just really not the most important thing, which I would say is probably your engagement rate if we're talking about statistics. Otherwise, obviously, I would say the type of content that you're creating and the quality of that content. Things about social media is the community that we've built, which is a smaller group than our overall following, but it's the people that we've met along the way, both just online, but then also now meeting in person, which is really special. I didn't start our page as a way to monetize. I honestly didn't even really know that was a thing. So for me, it was more about making a difference and showing bully breed and rescue dogs in a positive light. Just the fact that I'm obsessed with my dog and take a million pictures, and it was somewhere to put those pictures, and for the community and to learn new things. I've learned so much. It's crazy. I've learned things that honestly don't even apply to me. Like I've learned so much about cats. I don't own a cat, but it's just interesting to learn information, I think, and always be growing. Being said, if you are looking to monetize, you can monetize your platform with 100 followers. You could monetize it with 500 followers. There are a lot of different ways to make income on social media, and it's not dependent on following. Polo is snoring in the background, if you hear that, very loudly, of course. As I was saying, I know that it can be frustrating sometimes, especially if you're kind of starting off as a creator, to just hear like, don't worry about these things, or when people say like, oh, well, I don't care about following, I don't care about likes, when I feel like all of us a little bit care about those things deep down, even if it's not your priority and it's not the reason that you're doing what you do. Like, it feels good to have that reassurance, and it feels good to gain a following. It feels good when a video or a photo performs really well. So I understand that side of it as well. Fun to kind of challenge yourself and experiment with different types of content to see like what performs well or what does best, as long as you're not crossing that line of torturing yourself with it and being like obsessed with just the numbers where you don't have fun creating content anymore. Without further ado, I will get into some things that I've noticed have helped our page to grow. Like I said, this will mostly be referring to Instagram content since that's our largest platform. YouTube, I'm very, very new to, so don't know if I have a lot of tips there yet. And we are still not a massive page by any means, so someone else might have better tips, but this is just what worked for me. It is something that I think people hear a lot, but it really does help, which is consistency. and consistently posting. A lot of people think that this means you have to post every day and post multiple times a day, and that's not the case at all. What that means is just consistently. So find a schedule that works for you. If that's posting 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 4 days a week, and stick to it and be regularly posting. I think that people want to follow accounts that are active. Is just going to typically favor those accounts that are active and are regularly using their platform. I think especially once you've started one social media platform and maybe you're joining another, or you're kind of just starting out, people get these bursts of creativity, which is wonderful, and they make a whole bunch of content. Yes, Polo? Okay, this was unplanned, but I'm trying out this new EverChew bully stick holder because Polo wants all of my attention and doesn't want me to talk. Okay, sorry, there might be some chomping in the background now, but at least he's happy. But what I was saying is, I think that sometimes creators get this kind of burst of creativity and they make a whole bunch of content and then they just toss it up on whatever platform. And then they hit a point where they kind of have burnt out and they're out of ideas, or they're feeling too much pressure, feeling overwhelmed. They don't know what to create. So I think to go into it a little bit strategically and create when you're feeling creative, but then stick to that consistent schedule of plugging in the content rather than just using it all up right away. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick break and change. Not so fun fact about me, I'm a fainter and I was getting a little lightheaded, but we're back and we're good now. Something else that I think is going to help with growth is engagement. And this is tossed around a lot, but what I mean by that is not just liking and commenting emojis on other creators' posts, but actually getting to know other creators, swipe up on their story, ask them a question, get to know them, and kind of develop those real friendships. One true good friendship can easily turn into 50 because you never know who other people know and they'll connect you with. I also think finding groups with common interests can be really helpful. I do not mean like following engagement groups, anything like that. That actually can be very harmful for your page. But I've been in enrichment groups that talk about kind of dog food and toppers and treats and make beautiful, beautiful bowls. I've been in a group with all other pity moms that have pity mixes and kind of could chat about some things that we all go through with that, or just dog moms, all sorts of different things that you kind of have one thing that relates all of you, and that can help to start a lot of conversations and get to know new people. A lot of people talk about kind of following ratios. You might hear tossed around and like, oh, you shouldn't be following more people than you have followers. I think that's kind of silly, but I do think that it is important to kind of carefully cultivate who you're following. If you're following like 7,000 people, chances are you're not seeing the majority of those people's posts. You're not knowing what's going on with them, and it kind of takes away from the community element, I think, in my opinion. I would rather be following a bit of a smaller number of people that I can really deeply connect with and get to know and can say are friends of ours. Obviously, I would love to follow absolutely everyone and support everyone and get to know as many people as I can, but it's just not always realistic that those people then are going to show up in my feed. And I've found that I can keep up with people a little bit better if I keep that more manageable. But on the flip side, I think that to a degree, especially if you're starting out, you kind of have to follow people to grow your following. People right away off the get-go probably aren't going to want to follow you if you're not following them back and engaging with them. It's kind of a mutual thing. Like I keep saying, this community, because that really is what social media is at the end of the day. So I think to also go out of your way to find accounts that have similar interest, or if you're in the pet space, maybe have similar pets. I think that's kind of the easiest thing to start with. A lot of my good friends on social media might not have really much in common with me in terms of what they're posting or their niche, and we're still really great friends. But I think it's easiest sometimes to, when you're starting off, find like-minded individuals or people that have something in common, because those people are usually going to be interested in what you're posting because it relates to them. I think doing a little bit of research with that, looking for new creators, new content, and just engaging as much as you can and being supportive, and usually karma comes back on the other end. Something else that has helped me with growth is finding a signature series. This one can help with preventing burnout, which then helps with some other things I mentioned, like posting consistently. If you have a series that you can refer to and be adding to that series all of the time. So for us, this is our Baking with Polo series, where Polo has his little chef outfit and creates dog-friendly recipes. We also started a hashtag and kind of a series on Wednesdays that we do Wacky Ear Wednesday, because we got so many comments about Polo's ears and how they kind of have a mind of their own. He always has a different set of ears, I joke. Also has a little series that I do occasionally that is What You Missed Since You Abandoned Me. Polo was abandoned by his last owner, and this is kind of a way that I do it to update on his life and kind of show all that he has been accomplishing recently. I think the key is finding something unique and creative. You don't want to be copying other creators or doing something that they're already doing. Find something that's unique to you and go off of that. Another thing that can help with growth and kind of finding like-minded individuals and finding the right community is story templates. So those little add yours templates, where it might things like pity owners, add a photo of your pity, or it's rescue dog day, add a photo of your rescue dog. Different things like that that you can add a story to, and then you can also go through the story and see other people that have posted and engage with them. And a bonus, if you can come up with your own add yours story template, that can be a good way for other people to find your account as well. So have to not be afraid to try something new and not be afraid to mix it up, and acknowledge that sometimes those are going to be complete and total flops, but you learn from it. The algorithm sometimes takes time to pick up on new things and to know kind of where to put your content if it's in a newer category. So just bear with it. I say that I make a lot of different content that falls into different categories. So some content I'm making with the goal of growth and kind of reaching new followers and a new audience. Content I'm making very much for our current audience, and it's things that they love, but maybe the algorithm doesn't love so much, but it's our community and our people at the end of the day, and so if they love it, I love that. Some content I make solely for myself. It's just content that makes me really happy to make and that I'm really proud of, and maybe it doesn't make anyone else happy, but it makes me happy, and that keeps me from burning out and losing my creativity. And people don't always look at it from that perspective, but not burning out and being able to stay consistent, once again, is going to help you grow in the long run. If content is going to be a hit, not every piece of content is going to gain you a bunch of followers. Sometimes it will accomplish all of those things. You will have so much fun making it. It will personally be really special to you. You'll gain a lot of followers. Your current followers will love it. Brands will love it. But realistically, that's not going to be every single piece of content, and learning to be okay with that. So sometimes viral content can be for people that don't support you and people that are hating on what you post. And that's not going to really help with growth either, even though a lot of eyes were on that content. So there's just a lot of different aspects of it. I would also say to look through your page, see what has performed well in the past, or something that you think could have performed really well but maybe didn't, and try to put a new twist on it. Try to work with what works best for, I would say, like 80% of the time, but then still be trying new things, because you never know what could work better. Just because something's working well doesn't mean there's not a better way to do it, or that there's something that would be even a bigger hit with your audience. So just looking back and kind of evaluating past content, seeing where you might have gained following, where you gained kind of that more authentic following, and how things performed, and keeping up with that style. And don't be afraid to sort of repurpose content. I think you have to be careful with this, because people don't want to feel like your page is repetitive and that you're doing just the same thing all the time. That can get boring. But maybe if a clip performed really well, or a certain concept, trying to do something similar with it and use it again in a different way. And I have to go get some more things done today to work to grow our page, but I can definitely do a part 2 on this with the second half of my list for some tips and tricks with growth and different things like that. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in watching. As always, thank you so much for joining us on our journey, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.